Okay, so this is something like we can achieve it through ETL. Okay, so let me talk about Power Center. Okay, so Power Center is an older version. Like you can just talking in a generic way. It is an on-premises version of for Informatica, where the users used to install the application in their machine and configure the repositories and domain and start using it. Okay, so for this purpose, we required on-premise installation your machine is required, and also we have to maintain the repository database. If someone is aware that what is repository database, it will be a database in which all the information related to the Informatica Power Center jobs will be stored there. For example, if you're creating a mapping, the mapping information will be stored in the repository database, like what is the mapping name, what is the when was it created, when was it updated, and when was it ran, and all the logs, everything will be stored in the repository database. So for Informatica Power Center, we required Informatica database, we required the servers for running the Informatica jobs, and we required the local installation for Informatica Power Center. Okay, so if you guys feel free to just stop me if I'm going bit fast or you have some doubts. Okay, so this is for Power Center. So it is an on-prem application which is installed on our machines. Okay, whereas coming to cloud, which is called IICS, which is like Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. Okay, so this is the cloud version of Informatica, where we can just I'll show you that. So if you will be having one URL for Informatica Cloud, so we have three data centers. One is for Asia, Europe, and the US. So when we open the URL, you will be having one login page. Okay, so once you put in the credentials like username and password, you will have all the services available here. So based on the like few services are common services. If you want some other additional services, we have to take the license for that additional services, and we have to utilize the services from the Informatica. So if you're talking about Informatica Power Center, so if you out of all the services, data integration is a service which is almost like relatable to Informatica Power Center. Okay, so Power Center guys can understand this. So data integration is a service. Here in Informatica Cloud, every application is a service here. For example, we have application integration, which is used to integrate different applications. Like let us say one front-end application and one back-end application from Salesforce to some other database, something like that. And whatever the different applications we have, we can integrate the applications in the real time. Okay, and data integration. This is to integrate the data from different sources, just like Informatica Power Center. Okay, so it is Informatica Cloud is an I plus application, like an integration platform as a service. So everything is, I mean, every application, I mean, every service is a on cloud. Okay, so you understand the basic differences from powers. And one more thing, in Informatica Cloud, the repository is not maintained by us. The repository is maintained by Informatica company, I mean Informatica vendor itself. So we are not going to maintain any repository here, or we are not going to install any servers here. So whenever a client requires to use Informatica, just we have to reach out to them. They will be giving one org ID for us. Okay, they will be giving from org ID for us. So for this organization ID, we can all the stuff. So you just understood what is the basic differences from Power Center and Informatica Cloud. Okay. So I treat it as I'm good here. So I'll proceed with the next thing. Okay. So relating with Power Center and IICS. So the first thing is domain in Power Center. Here we call it as we can call it as org ID. organization ID. Each org ID, I mean each client has their different org ID, just like how each client has their different domains. Okay. So after domain we have repository services in Power Center, where we store information related to the mappings, workflows, sessions, everything. Okay. Whereas here we are not going to have any repository services. Repository services is there, but it is not maintained by us. Okay. So this is maintained by Informatica. Okay. So the next one is here we call integration service. Okay, this integration service is used to run the jobs in Informatica Power Center. So this is responsible for connecting the Informatica Power Center service to the database and loading the data to the database, and also executing the different transformations. And it is overall responsible for the running the jobs in Informatica Power Center. Whereas here we call it as runtime environments. Okay, here we call it as runtime environments. Okay, so in the runtime environments, just like integration service, how we have a backup services, I mean different nodes for integration service. Similarly, we different servers for integration service. Similarly, we can have multiple runtime environments. I mean, under a one runtime environment, we can have multiple servers. So just to balance the load and just to have the good performance here, so that it will be make it as high availability. So it will be available for all the time. Okay, so these are the, I mean, comparison differences from Power Center to IICS in an architecture wise. Okay, so are we good here? I mean, understandable, or anything confusing, or any more clarification required here?
What do you mean the org ID in IICS here instead of domain in Power
Yeah,
Center?
so yeah, sure. So here what is happening is, let me tell you, as your client and you want to use Informatica cloud services, so you can just reach out to Informatica saying that I am a client and required for so and so, I need Informatica from so and so. So what is they're going to do is they're going to create one org ID for your for you as a customer. They're going to create one org ID for you, and they are going to provide the org ID for you. I mean, when you're talking about org ID, so for every client, they are going to give the cloud server as an additional component. They are not, I mean, it is given as part of organization ID only. So if you, how to show you? Yeah, just a second. So this is the, I mean, org ID which I'm having now. There is a unique org ID which they will be having all their assets related to data integration and application integration, whatever it is, everything will be available. I mean, under this org ID. See here, by default, they are going to give the cloud server to you, okay? But this cloud server is not anyway useful for running the jobs. So this is the just a basic server. I mean, it can be used for application integration, but not for data integration. Okay.
I got it.
I- And is it understandable? Able to relate? Just like how we are having a domain for each client in Power Center, the similar way, relatively we can have an org. It will be an org ID, organization ID.
Yeah, and the repository isn't it the same thing like in Power Center and IICS?
No, no. Actually, in Power Center, if you know, you will connecting to the domain, and you will when you configure the domain, you will having the repository service, and you have to connect to the repository service in the Informatica Power Center, and the repository service is maintained within the on-prem data. I mean, on-prem database. Just like your admin will be having the access to the repository database, and you will be providing the logs or different kind of stuff, right? And it required DB upgradation, repository database upgradation. It was maintained by us, okay, repository in Power Center. Whereas in cloud repositories, some way, repository database, which is not within our hands, it will be maintained by Informatica, and it is residing some in some of the data centers. just like a cloud database you will be having, right? Azure cloud database where it is residing, it will be in some big huge server which is in a cloud database. Similarly, repository database for Informatica is also a cloud database. Using these runtime environments, we will be hitting this repository and we will be retrieving the information. Just how integration service contacts, get associated with the repository service and retrieve the information for mapping and sessions. The similar way, runtime environment hits the repository database, cloud repository database, and retrieves information from the repository database.
So I mean, in the repository, we will have like as I said, like workflow, mapping, applet, all this stuff, right?
Yeah, let us say if I create one mapping here, so the mapping will be having the metadata, right? So what is the name of the mapping, when was it created, who created that, and what are the updated date, and everything. That metadata information will be stored in the repository database.
Hi, Tarun.
Yeah.
I don't have any ETL experience previously. I'm just new to this. Can you please let me a basic flow of this repository and domain? I'm not getting any of these as of now.
Okay, okay, sure. So
Yeah.
see, let us say domain. Okay. So as a client, you're having one client, you are one client, and you are going to use Informatica. Okay. So Informatica, let us. I will start. I will go with IICS. Okay. So you're new to like ETL. So our guide. So you can approach to Informatica company and you can ask them for like I want to take Informatica license and I want to do so and so operations. So they are going to create one org ID for you and they are going to share it with you. Okay.
Wi-
So
Will
this
that be
setup will be done. Yeah.
will that be unique for everybody, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
it will
there
be
will
unique. It will be unique.
so it's a uniquely identified. In the older days, we used to create our own daemon name, but now if everything is common, so Informatica will take care of corporation will take care of providing the unique ID. That's a org name. I think that's what
Yes,
you're
yes,
talking.
yes. Each client
Okay,
has their unique org ID.
okay. Yeah, I have some exposure with IICS.
Okay.
Uh, I worked power center more than a decade. So yeah, I know
Okay.
I can relate. Yeah, but I still respect the people have new. Yeah, you can please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
So when we get in, see, when we are going to take one, let me tell you generic way. If you are going to take one any of the Gmail account or if you are taking any of the Facebook account, so what you are going to do, you are going to log into the Facebook website and create your own account and get your, account created, right? So similarly, when you approach them, they are going to give the complete package to you. You no need to do anything, just you have to pay for Informatica, that's it. Okay, they are ready to give whatever we want. Okay, so when you get this unique org ID, you will be having access to the Informatica. So when we are logging to Informatica, so we have different services. Okay, by default they are giving few services as part of that uh, our requirement. So whatever the licenses we required, if you want few other services, let us say like there are many services available in Informatica Cloud. Okay, it's like metadata commander center, and we have B2B application gateway, mass ingestion, integration hub. We have many application services available, PC to cloud conversion, everything. Most many services are available. So based on our requirement, we'll be having few services. Okay. So
Okay.
when we log into here, so you want to create one mapping. Let us say you want to create one mapping like the source is Oracle and you have one set of transformations. Okay. And after that, you are loading to one more database or one more Oracle or something like that. Okay. So for this purpose, what is the prerequisites? First, we have to have a connection for Oracle. Okay. So when we're creating a connection, I'm just telling in generic way, okay? So when we're creating a connection, this connection will be having the connection name. It will holding some connection property details, everything, right? So this the all details of the connection, which is called metadata of the connection, will be stored in the repository database in the form of tables. If it is database, it will be in form of tables only. Okay, so if you talk about connections, if you see I'm creating a new connection, okay, I have to specify one connection name. So that name is for common, okay, connection name. And what is the connection type? Okay, so we have different native connectors available for Informatica. So if I'm talking about Oracle, okay, if I take the connection type as Oracle, so we have to provide all the Oracle connection parameters here, like what is the username to connect to your Oracle database, what is the password, what is the host name, port number, schema, everything we have to provide it. And this, after creation of this, the data of this connection will be stored in the repository database, because this is a cloud application, right? Even if you are logging to Facebook, your data will be stored in one database, right? What is the username and password combination, what are the posts or what are the photos you have uploaded there, everything will be stored in one database. Similarly, for Informatica Cloud, the details about these connections, details about the mapping, everything will be stored in the database, repository database. Initially in on-prem we used to maintain that, but now in Informatica Cloud, Informatica organization itself is maintaining this. So you understand, right? So what is repository database?
Yeah, Tarun. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let us say like I have created one mapping. Let us say mapping something like mapping one, something like that. I have created this mapping, okay. So after creation of the mapping, I want to run this mapping. Okay. So if I want to run this mapping, I need one server to run it, because the thing is like the details of this mapping are residing on the repository database. So I have to hit the repository database, collect the information of this mapping, like what is the what is the source, what is the transformations, what are the targets, everything you have to collect the information, and I have to run it. Okay, so I am transferring the data from source to target, and I have to transfer it securely. Okay, so I am going to use this runtime environments, which is used to run the mappings, and it is used to transfer the data across the application securely. Okay, just a second, let me add your agent. Okay, so this is a lightweight server where it is an auto upgradable, which is upgraded by Informatica only. In earlier in Power Center, we used to take admin used to take care of upgradation of the servers. Okay, but here Informatica itself take care of the upgradation of the servers. Okay, so just like in Power Center, how your integration service is responsible to hit the repository and retrieve the information of the mapping sessions, everything, and which is responsible for running the mappings, this integration service. Similarly, in IICS, we have runtime environments, or we call it a secure agent. So this is responsible for connecting to repository database, getting the information of the mapping sessions and everything, and responsible to execute the workflows. Workflow sessions and mappings, runtime environments.
So we can call it server, right?
Yeah, server. Yeah. Okay, so this is secure agent, a lightweight type of secure agent which we can install both on Linux or Windows. Okay, and this secure agent is responsible for running the mappings, and it is a transferring the data to one system to another system in a secured manner. Okay, so this is like architecture comparison from Power Center to IICS. So if you want to get some more elaboration information, please let me know. Or like in basic understanding, like as a demo part, you are good, then we can go further. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to know,
So
like, I have a question here.
yeah, yeah.
So I heard that we have something like integration, IACS integration part, and other one is something application part or any other two modules. So you will be
Yes, yes.
covering
One is
both.
data integration, another is application integration.
So you will be covering both, or how it will be?
No, no, actually this is for data integration, but I can help you with application integration. Not, if you ask me, data integration, application integration far easy than data integration. Okay, so I can help you with some understanding of application integration and the basics, and I will just tell you few real time scenarios where you can use application integration.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, so first,
So,
yeah,
so,
please.
so this course is all about the data integration, right? Like basically.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is all about what is ETL and what are the how we can relate it to Informatica Cloud. Okay. So the next thing, yeah. So runtime environments, secure agent, organization, connections. Okay. So I'll start with runtime environments. Okay. See here. If you have some basic knowledge on Informatica Power Center administration console, okay. So the same, this is a service. Administrator is also service here. Okay, here we can do activities related to admins like maintaining the okay, maintaining and creating of runtime environments. Okay, and also if there are something like we need to create a connection, we can create the connections here. We can create the Informatica users here, creation of Informatica users, and creation of groups. Everything can be handled here. Okay, we can assign the roles to the Informatica users. I mean, all the admin related activities can be achieved here, can be done here. Okay, so we can have multiple runtime environments in a single org. Okay, in a single or dev org or QA production, we can have multiple runtime environments. Okay, so for this purpose, if you want to install an runtime environment, or if you want to install a secure agent, first we have to generate a token here. Okay, get the token copied. Okay, this is nothing, just like uh, just an authentication type, a basic authentication type. Just copy the token here, and you can download the secure agent. Okay, so if it is in Windows, you can choose as Windows. If it is Linux, choose it as Linux. For your practice session and for your understanding and for practicing, you can install the Windows secure agent. If you click on download, it will start downloading the secure agent into your local machine. Okay, I'm just canceling this. Okay, so once your download is completed, you can install the secure agent on your machine. So the Informatica Cloud, we have the platform here available in the browser, and in order to run this Informatica, this is the machine. I mean, this is the your machine is a secure agent as of now. Even the server is nothing but a combination of higher values of CPUs, right? I mean, higher performance CPUs. Similarly, your CPU is the secure agent for this. You can have the secure agent for this Informatica Cloud as your machine. Okay, this is a simple. This is the one of the desktop which my friend has installed this, and his desktop is a secure agent for this, or I mean, for this is one of the runtime environment. Okay, so when you're installing in a desktop, it doesn't have all the services. It will have very limited services. It will be, I mean, it will be sufficient to sufficient for your practice. Okay, so you can open this and you can click on next and provide the appropriate information, just like how we are installing a software, almost a similar kind of thing. Okay, so this is secure agent. So if you're having higher loads, you are going to run thousands and hundreds of jobs in parallel, and you want to balance a server, you can take multiple secure agents. Okay, since it's desktop, it will won't support higher performance, but if you're going to Linux and you're going to higher performance CPUs, like the secure agent also will be given by Informatica org itself, organization itself. It is a chargeable one. If you want more secure agents and high performance secure agents, the cost will be high. It will be like billions of dollars. Okay, if you
Uh,
are yeah.
and if you say multiple secure agent means in the development, I can
If you
have more than one secure agent. That's what you
yes,
meant?
yes, 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 correct.
Okay.
Okay, if you see here, there is only one secure agent I have installed for each runtime environment. If you want to add one more secure agent, you can just download it and install it under the same runtime environment. Okay, so it will be like helpful for balancing the load when we're running the multiple hundreds of jobs you're running. I mean, if you are having lots of data warehouse concepts and lots of mappings, then you can have multiple secure agents. And the secure agent, if you want it, Linux and Informatica will provide that secure agent details. I mean, it will be chargeable. I mean, it is a, I mean, it is a most costly, I mean, one of the costly asset of Informatica cloud. Okay, so it will be having better performance and higher performance when we compare to our desktop. I mean, this is only for practice purpose desktop, but you have to go with secure agent only. We can have both any of it, like a Windows secure agent, or you can have a Linux. You can run it on Windows or Linux, anything, just like Informatica Power Center. Okay, so this is all about runtime environments like secure agents, which is used to transfer the data from one application to another application in a secure channel, and also it is useful for running the mapping sessions. I mean, mappings and sessions and task flows. If you are new to Informatica, it may take some time to understand what are the sessions, task flows, and mappings. Just it is, I'll just, I mean, explain it further going further. Okay. So just to understand here, what is a mapping? Mapping is will be having will be having sources. It can have multiple, like one or more sources. Okay, targets. Okay, and it between the source and target, you will be having multiple transformations based on your requirement. Okay, if I just to show you, if I just create a new mapping, see here, when I'm creating by default, when I'm creating a mapping, it will be having a source and a target by default. Without a source and without any one of this, like source or target, the mapping will be invalid. Okay, it is not a valid mapping. So for a mapping, there should be a source, there should be target for sure, and based on a requirement, we can have multiple transformations between these two, aggregator or a lookup, whatever it is. Based on requirement, joiner, it can be a, based on a requirement, it can have multiple transformations. So who is not having a ETL knowledge? So just I'm giving a gesture, what is a mapping? Okay, so a source and target, a multiple transformations between these two source, I mean, between these two transformations, source and target. There is a scenario, we no need of requiring any transformations between these two. We can directly take the target, a source, load it to the target. This is just a simple pass-through job, no transformations. Just take the source, load it to target, that's it. But these two components are should be there. Okay, so just giving what is a mapping. So this is the mapping. Okay, so if you want to run the mappings, if you want to run any other components, we required a runtime environment secure agent. Okay, okay, so runtime environments, Informatica Cloud Secure Agent, organization nothing but org IDs. Okay, connections. Okay, so Informatica by default supports few native driver connections. Okay, like we have Oracle, we have Salesforce. One thing, Informatica Cloud is, I mean, integrating with Salesforce. It's like very interesting concept. I mean, interesting integration. Okay, it will be very friendly. Okay, always Informatica is integrated with Salesforce. It is very friendly, and if you are working on that, you will just enjoy the concepts there. Okay, so if you see by default, Informatica is providing multiple connectors here. Okay, so we have SAP connectors, we have SharePoints, we have ServiceNow, we have web service connectors, we have REST-V2 connectors, Oracle, MS SQL, many connections. If something is like out of Informatica drivers, we have JDBC connection, which is used to connect to different databases. We have Google Cloud Storage connection, flat file connections,
Do we need to buy
TP2.
extra money to get some connection, or
Yeah, if
I,
you, yeah, yes, correct. If you have, if your requirement is within the Informatica provided connections, then you are good here. If you want to have some other connectors, okay, we have one Addon connectors here. Okay, If you see beside below connections, we have add-on connectors. These are the add-on connectors provided by Informatica. There are many, not like one or two. There are many. Okay, ODataBus, Snowflake. We have many Salesforce. Okay, we have many connectors, and we will be having like a trial version available for each connector. Started trial version like around 30 days it will be having. So just to like mitigate your requirement. Okay, so if you are okay with this, you can pay the amount and take the license for this connector. Okay, so these are the extra add-on connectors available. There are many connections available. Okay, so got about the connection. So the connection is nothing but if for first to ETL, new to ETL. So connector is nothing but if you want to read the data from the source, let us say in connection I have created one Oracle connection, okay, or Salesforce connection, okay. So if you want to read the data from the Oracle, or if you want to read the data from Salesforce, when you click on the source properties, okay, we can select the connection here. Okay, in the connection we have multiple options. It can be a multiple objects. Object is nothing but a table. Okay, so you can have a single object, or you can have a query to read the data from the database, or you can parameterize the object, anything. Okay, if I'm selecting the single object, when you click on select, okay, so whatever all the tables available based on your connection configuration, everything will be visible here when you click on select, if it is an whatever the object it is. Just a second, it's loading. Okay, see, all the objects will be available visible here. So based on your requirement, you can select any one of the table. Okay, when you select the table, the metadata of the table will be coming up here. It will be showing all the fields in this section. Okay, so this is how the connector is useful. Okay, so to read the data from the source and to load the data to the source, we need the connections. You can read the data from the flat file, load it to the Oracle, or read from Salesforce, load it to some Netizer database, whatever it is. So the prerequisite to read the data and load the data, we need the connection to be created. It is a one-time activity, so we need to provide the parameter, connection parameters to the connections, and we can use the connections in the data integration mappings. Just not going to like in complex understanding, just in basic understanding. So you want to read the data from a table, so I have to establish a connectivity. So connectivity I'm establishing through creating a connection. So this connection will help me to pull the data to from the source, and this connection will be helping me to load the data to the target. This will happen through a runtime environment or secure agent. If you see, when I'm creating one new connection, it is asking me for the runtime environment or secure agent. Just a see, if I to go for Oracle, here it is asked, the first step it is asking is runtime environment. If you move over the mouse, runtime environment is used to run the task. Note, only secure agent groups with connector type enabled are listed. Okay, so the runtime environment, the secure agent should be having the connector type license enabled. Okay, so understood what is a connection, what is the use of the connection, non-ETL background as well.
Somewhat confusion, sir.
Okay, somewhat confusion. Okay, let me reiterate it. Okay, okay, so the basic component, the basic component of Informatica is like the first component, the important component of Informatica is the mapping. Okay, so mapping is nothing but we can read the data from one table or one flat file, one CSV file, whatever it is, and we can load the data to one target. It can be anything, like it can be table, it can be a CSV file, whatever it is. So you understand this thing. So what is the mapping? So read the data from one table, load it to one table.
It's
Just
like
an
a
example.
pipeline. It's a pipeline, like reading from one place
Yeah,
to,
we can.
yeah.
Yes. You can call it as pipeline. Okay, so the basic component of the mapping. So the basic component Informatica of data integration is a mapping. Okay, so the mapping will have a source and a target. Okay, so if you after reading the data from the source, okay, if I have multiple sources, okay, I have, let's say I have two sources. Okay, this source is Oracle. Okay, this source is let us say some Salesforce or some Flatfile, whatever it is. Okay, so I want to join these two sources. There is one key column called some employee ID or something like that. This is employee table and this is department table. Okay, so I want to join based on department ID. So I have some transformations available in Informatica. So this is the joiner. Okay, so in the joiner I will just drag and drop this. I will mitigate all the fields from first source to master on the second source to detail. Okay, so these are the two sources. The transformation I'm applying here, it is a joiner transformation. Okay, so in the joiner transformation we have to give the join condition. This I will explain when we are going further, like in transformation level. Okay, so we have to give the join condition here. Okay, after giving the joining condition, I want to load it to one table or I want to load it to one flat file. Just I will just mitigate this pipeline to target. So I'm having multiple sources in this mapping and having some transformations here in between the source and target and loading it to the target. This is what about the mapping. This is the basic component of the mapping. I mean Informatica. Okay, understandable, or any doubts, any confusions, some more
Yeah,
clarification?
I have a
Yeah,
question, Tarun.
yeah,
As you told, like in Power Center, we were having some dedicated server, and all the processing
yes,
happened on server. So in
yes.
IICS, like I'm a bit confused. Like all thing is maintained on cloud. So where does the processing of data happen? Like whether on
Yeah,
cloud or like on secure
see
agent?
here. Yeah. So if you see here, repository is the database here, Informatica Power Center, repository DB, okay? It is on-premise DB. It can be an Oracle database or it can be some Netezza or whatever it is, okay? The similar type of repository is available in Informatica as well. It is a cloud database. It can be an Azure database or it can be an AWS database, whatever it is, okay? So these two things understanding, these two things are, you get it right?
I mean, like processing of data where
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what is happening is, so integration service in on-prem is the heart of the, I mean, important service in Informatica Power Center, which is responsible for running the jobs, right? The similar way in Informatica Cloud, Secure Agent is the server which is responsible for running the jobs. This is also a server which is an on-premises server. This is also server which is a cloud server. The only difference.
So like a runtime like this is on the cloud, and the integration service which is installed in the machine, right?
Yeah, integration service is in different, I mean high performance CPUs clubbed into one server and they are giving us to as integration service. The same is here as well, Secure Agent. You just remember for Secure Agent, okay? This is a
no,
cloud,
but
this is a
this
cloud server.
But this secure agent is installed on, like, for example, I am connecting through my desktop. So I need to
Mhm.
download and install secure agent on my desktop, correct? Which will be connecting to IICS cloud.
Yeah, no, just giving a brief again. So in runtime environments, you can have your machine as a Secure Agent. You can have your laptop as a Secure Agent. This is the thing. This is just for your practice purpose. That's it.
So you mean my laptop will connect to the cloud, and my
Correct.
laptop will be my server.
Yes, correct.
Okay, okay.
This is for like your practicing purpose. It will be not anyway helpful for any of your client projects. Just it is for your practice, just to understand secure agent concept. If you see, this is the actual secure agent of mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
this is Srinivas Reddy. Here, one question.
Yeah. Yes.
Secure agent is like it will create the structure like wherever, whenever we are running any kind of mapping task or something. So
Hmm.
all the logs, all the however in Informatica Power Center, it will create the right session logs like where we are getting the log files. Just it's kind of a
Yes.
create the structure, right?
Yes, exactly correct. Yes, correct, Srinivas.
okay, one question.
Yeah.
So this desktop one, I understood it's just to practice purpose. So we need to
Mhm.
install in our desktop, and desktop will
No,
become a, like
it
a
is
server.
it is not a mandatory just for your. I just installed it here.
No,
That's it. It is not
yeah,
mandatory. Huh.
that's I understood. What about the other one, which is the actual server agent, which we need?
Yeah, this is
Okay,
our this is the actual server which is hosted on the Linux. I mean, which is running on Linux operating system.
okay. And
So I mean,
and
either
how
you
it's
can have both.
both?
Yeah, it can have both.
Yeah, yeah. So the second one running on the Linux. So do we need to perform any action on that, or only when we create the run environment, or maybe Informatica will provide you that information, it automatically up and running?
Yeah, actually, when you're taking a license from Informatica organization, so they will be helping us if you give the requirements to them. It
Hmm.
has a bit lengthy process when you're installing it on the Linux. Okay, not on Linux. If you're having some proper secure agent, it has some basic. I mean, it has different services to be installed. So this is a one-time activity. And Informatica organization itself will be helping you for installation of the secure agent.
Okay. And possibility it's not only the Linux, could be the Windows system also.
Yeah, yeah. If you have high perform, I mean, if you have higher CPU and you can install it, I mean, you can run it on Windows operating system as well.
Okay. So the all steps will be performed by Informatica team only. They can help.
Yeah, yeah. They will help us.
Okay.
Okay, this
So
is more of like admin kind of activity,
Yes,
one-time
yes.
activity for setting up the environment. Just like in
Yeah.
Informatica Power Center, how we are having an administrator
Yeah. Got it.
who will be responsible for doing the secure, I mean, server upgradations, Oracle database upgradations. If there is some patching activity, everything they are doing, right? There will be some
Correct.
blackout period, outages. The similar
Mhm.
type of activity will be done by admins here.
Okay.
so Tarun, like for our practice purpose, it's better to
Mhm.
have the window, right? Because if I
Yeah, yeah,
install
Windows.
this
Because
in
you
the
will be
Linux, then
taking.
I have to have the Linux connection and all, right? For the file putting, right?
Yes, yes, correct. So
Okay.
for your practice purpose, you can have a trial version of Informatica. They will give something like 30 to 45 days, I remember. So just to practice purpose, you can have the flat file connection, and you can for flat file connection you can have the runtime and I mean secure agent as your desktop. You can just it will be very easy if you just download secure agent and follow the steps. Click next, 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 and give the installation directory. Just like Power
How
Center, there
about
is a one
the
installation directory. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
this is for the flat files. How about the oracles? We have to have the Oracle
Oracle,
client who can
yeah.
connect, right?
So yes, yes. You can have anyone. I mean, Google it. Get the Oracle connection details for test. I mean, for practice
Like
purpose,
if I
and
have like
configure
my
the.
my Oracle, the Oracle client installed in my laptop, so I can
Yeah, yeah.
connect
Then you
that
can.
here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, yes, yes. You can have that here.
Okay.
So what I can tell is like for like practice purpose, you can have flat file connection and Oracle connection. These two are feasible. Okay. If you have trial version of Salesforce, then you can have Salesforce connection as well. If you have some trial version of Salesforce. Oracle and Flatfile are for, I mean, that is there. If you want Salesforce as well, if you have some trial version of Salesforce account, then you can have the Salesforce as well.
Can we connect the local databases also? Like suppose you install SQL Server in your own desktop, can we
Yeah, that's
communicate
what.
with? Okay,
This is a trial version, right? In trial version, that feasibility will not be there.
okay.
Yeah, if you
Then
are,
how can we connect Oracle then?
yeah, for Oracle, just like go to administrator service, click on connections, a new connection.
So
Okay,
you mean the
First, we
then
Oracle
need
are
to
there,
install.
but SQL
Uh,
Server is not there for the
sorry.
free trial version?
Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat the question?
Now I'm saying SQL Server or SQL Server management connection is not there because
Uh-huh.
of the trial version, but Oracle is there. That's what you meant.
Yeah, the Oracle is like a native driver for Informatica. Even in Power
Oh,
Center also, it is a native driver for Informatica. If you want to connect to Netizza, if you want to connect to some other databases in Power Center, you are going with ODBC connection, Open Database connection,
yes,
right?
yes, yes,
Here
yes.
it will be like JDBC connection.
JDBC. Okay.
We have some multiple JDBC connections.
I have a
Okay, so we
question,
have to
Tarun.
consider JDBC. Yeah,
Tarun, my question is, it can go down also the security agent, right? So,
yeah, yeah. It can go down.
in that case, and also I remember, as per the discussion, I can also find that the internet service also has to be always on, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Internet
these
service
two
is
are
on.
always needed, right? The security
Yes, yes,
agent
yes.
and then
Correct.
the, oh, okay. So what
If the
happens in
internet
case
service is,
once, yeah,
hmm.
please go ahead.
Yeah, if the internet service is not there, you can't even log into browser, right?
Okay, got it. But secure
Yeah.
agent, if one is down, so we should, that's your advice is that we should have a parallel secure agents, right?
Yes, yes, yes. There might be some issue. Like I'm not saying it is completely issue free, but there are issues. Okay, so the thing is like in Power Center, what is happening is if you want to bring down the server or if you want to bring up the server, we might be going to your Linux servers and execute a command like shutdown or start the server, or you can go to admin console, start it from there, something like that. Okay, but here you have a feasibility in administrator page. If you select the service here, data entry service, you can stop the service here. Okay, if you talk about process server, you can start the service here.
Okay.
You can do the service, I mean up and down here. If you are having, if you have installed some new let us say one something in secure agent, okay, so you want to restart the server, so you can do it from here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if you for Power Center, you have to go to Linux, shut down the server, and take up, bring back the server, or you have to connect admin console. I mean, I'm telling you one more thing. So since I have admin access, I'm able to do this. Okay, if you don't have admin access, you can't do this. You know, right? Each user has a different level of accesses. One is admin, one is developer, one is like only execute access. He can only run the jobs. He can't write the. I mean, he can't edit the jobs. He can't create the jobs. Just like a production access. So since I have the admin access, I'm able to show you all these things, and I can able to just play around with it. I know it is bit I mean confusing for the persons who are new to ETL.
Uh,
So,
in
Tarun,
parts,
always in organization. Hello,
Yeah, yeah. Please tell me.
hi Tarun.
Yeah, yeah. Please
In
tell me.
always in organization and background level, like how many secure agents will be up and running. Always it will be like any multiple secure agents will be running, right?
Yeah, we can have multiple secure
Suppose
agents. So that's what I was telling. Based on your project scope, based on your how big is your project, how many jobs are running daily. So based on that, you can have multiple secure agents. It will be balancing the load of the, I mean, load data load. Like to say, if you're having one secure agent and you're running like 500 jobs at a time, let us say in early morning 5 o'clock or early morning 4 o'clock, you're having like 500 workflows triggering at a time for different systems, come all combinedly. So it is very low, very huge load on the server, right? So in order to balance this load, we can have more than one secure agent, which will split the load across these two, just like Informatica Power Center, how it is distributing the load across the integration servers. We'll have multiple integration servers, right? When you connect to monitor, we'll have multiple servers. If you see that.
But on single machine, there will be a single secure agent, huh? Like,
No, no, there can be like see the database, the data. I mean the database and the SharePoint. I mean data point may be same. Okay, let us say there is one data point called Facebook. There is one folder called Facebook. To connect to this folder on the machine, we can have multiple servers, right? We can
Okay.
connect with X server and we can connect with Y server. So this X and Y server act as a mediator between Informatica Cloud and the uh, let us say repository database. Okay, so when I'm running 500 jobs, the X server will take care of 250 jobs and the next Y server will take care of 250 jobs. Just load balancing concept.
Okay.
Like parallelly running both server and but they're
Yes, yes.
taking the data from the same folder.
Same folder
Yeah.
through
No, I
different
mean,
servers.
diff, I mean, they taking the data from
Yes,
one object, running it parallelly, loading it could be different target or same target, right? But they're running
yes, yes,
parallelly
yes, correct.
to make it faster or for
Yes,
the load
correct.
balancing.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
See, let us say like we have only 100 users, okay? So let us say where there is a website which is having very less traffic, like 100 users. So what is there? So there will be having only one or two servers and there will be like not much high performance CPUs. Whereas if you go to some like Flipkart or something like that, it is a big, very big platform where be like lakhs of users will logging at a time and the traffic is very high. For that purpose, what we required? So we required the CPU with higher performance we required there, and also like multiple servers will be there to connect to the, I mean, even the Flipkart will have some background database, right? Backend database. If you have multiple servers, if a person is sitting searching for multiple products at a time, like lakhs of persons are searching, then the servers will balance their load. Understanding? Okay, so I think yeah.
Taran, and one more question, like, do you have a separate admin team in IICS also?
Yeah, there is some organizations who are having separate admin team. Like these admin activities are not that complicated as Informatica Power Center, but we do have admin activities here, but we don't require that many resources here. It is something like became more flexible here. I mean, more easy for administration. Yeah, there are organizations who have admins for IICS as well. Okay, so okay, so this is iPass access information, internet access, web browser application. When we access ISS application, your browser connects to Informatica Cloud Services through a secure HTTP protocol. Okay, this is all. This is what I have just explained you, which is there in this uh, PPT. Okay, so for each application there will be few terminologies, just like for Informatica Cloud also there are few terminologies like add-on connectors, bundles, elastic cluster, administrator components, assets, data integration server. These are the like most common few terminologies in Informatica Cloud. Okay, the persons who are not having like this is first time ETL, please let me know if you want to like understand something. I was telling you from basics itself, like what is ETL and what is the use of ETL. So this secure agent concept, everything is like a bit generic concept, not only for this Informatica Cloud. This is like secure agent, nothing but a server. Okay, this concept is not limited to IICS. It is just a bit generic concept.
See, at the end of the day, knowing the SQL is the main, right? Without
Yeah, yeah,
SQL
yeah.
knowledge,
So
yeah,
yes, yes, you need SQL knowledge.
that's a prerequisite. Otherwise,
Yeah,
at
that
the
is
end of the
prerequisite.
day, yeah, and at the end of the ISCS is nothing but a SQL. It depends 80% on SQLs only. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. You should be having the SQL knowledge. See, let us say you have two tables, and you are writing a join query in the database, and you are getting the information. Okay, if you talk about ISCS or Informatica or in ETL platform, we have the table. Let us say you are joining employee table and department table. Okay, so in the Informatica, what I'm doing in order to avoid the SQL, okay, so I'm taking one source, selecting the table here, employee table in the first source, and I'm selecting the department table in the second source. Okay, I'm doing a join here. Okay, so in the join, I will give join condition as from employee table department ID and from what we say department table department ID. So this join condition is matching. I will do a normal join. There are different joins available, just like how we are writing in SQL: master outer join, detail outer join, full outer join, and master normal join. Okay, so I will give the requirement based on requirement. I'll give the join condition here, and I will loading it to a target. So in this complete mapping, you don't see any SQL here. If at all you want to retrieve the
So
data
then
from
this is the case
database,
multiple tables. Tarun, this is the case
hmm,
multiple tables means
multiple
like
case tables, correct?
yeah, three tables. Like now two tables we have you are joining. Suppose we have one
Hmm.
more table.
Yeah, you can
So
take one more
are
source.
we going to use?
Yeah, you can have one more source. Okay, just okay. You can have one more source. Okay, so from this source, if I want to join, do a join again. Okay, so this output of these two tables will be going to this join. Okay, and the new table will be joining here. So if you want to do joins, this is how we have to do, because see, we can't have more than two input ports for one join. Okay, so the thing is here, if you are having 10 sources and you want to join all the 10 sources, you must be having 10 minus 1 joins.
Okay.
Okay, so let us say here we have 3 sources and you have 2 joins, that is 3 minus 1. Okay,
You mean
Okay.
two joins, T minus one, that's what you meant, right?
yes, if you're having n sources, you want to do all the joins on the n sources, then you should be having n minus 1 joins. Okay, so if you see here in overall this mapping, there is no SQL at all involved. So what happens is uh, you are having the sources, just take the table, no SQL written in the sources, and the join also, just you are giving the front end properties, just UI properties, you are configuring it and loading it to the target. In this complete structure, you don't have any SQL here. But whereas if you want to retrieve the data from database, okay, we have to write a SQL. Okay, in this scenario, in this Informatica mapping, there is no SQL involved here as of now. I mean, we can have the SQL, but in order to, if you want to avoid, we are avoiding the SQL here. But Informatica, when it is running the job, okay, it will generate the SQL. Okay, if you
So
say I have,
in
yes,
sometimes where we have target table will be defined in the percent level like primary key. So here in IICS, how we will do, Tarun, basically?
no, you mean to say like in run, see, let us say there is a table, employee table, and employee ID is the primary key. Okay,
Yeah, might be.
so
Yes,
when you're,
yes.
yes, okay, so if you go to target, okay, let us say our connection is some Oracle connection. Okay, let us say I don't have Oracle connection now, so I'm just going with Salesforce. Okay, so let us say this is an Oracle connection and I have to select the target. I got the connection, and under this connection I can able to see all the target tables available here. Okay, so when I click on select and I select one table here randomly, it will show the list of tables available here. Okay, and I selected one table here. So when I select the table, we have to select the operation. You want to insert that record, you want to update the record, okay, or else you want to upset the record, delete, or data driven. Data driven is nothing but like update strategy transformation in Power Center. I'm just giving briefly. Okay, if you want to
Yeah,
insert,
how
then
we will
insert
define like
operation.
primary key, like
See, this is Salesforce, right? If it's an Oracle and you have the primary
mhm.
key, then when you're clicking on update, you will getting one more option
Okay,
available here. Okay, we have to select that field,
okay,
which is a primary key field.
okay. Whenever we will select it any kind of database,
Okay.
some of the features will be disabled. You mean to say Oracle means it
Yes,
will
yes,
show
yes,
all the properties. Oh,
yes. Salesforce doesn't have that
some of the
primary key. There is a primary key concept, but it is a different concept here. There is a called field called external ID, that is a unique ID for each table. Okay, so that will not pop up here for Salesforce. For Oracle, if you're
What
using
about
Oracle,
it will support to Snowflake DB?
yes, yes, Snowflake also we
Same like
have to
Salesforce.
give the, no, no, not like
Mhm.
Salesforce, like Oracle.
Okay.
Like an Oracle. When you select an update operation, we have to select, there will be one more option coming up here, update field. So what is the primary key field? On what field you want to update? That field we have to select it here. There will be
Mhm.
one more box popping up. Okay.
So
So when we
you
select
mean
the
to
same,
say
yeah.
Snowflake DB and Salesforce it won't available.
No,
You
no, no,
mean to
no.
say only or
Salesforce will not will be available. If you see
Mhm.
Salesforce, there is one field called ID. Okay, this is called external ID, and this ID field is available in every table. Okay, and this ID field is 15 to 18 character length, and it is unique for each record for every table. Okay, so when I'm just updating, if I map the ID field, it will update the record. If I'm not mapping the ID field, it will insert the record. I mean, that is for Salesforce. I mean, I mean, even the functionality is same, even the backend functionality is same, the way of processing will be bit different for databases, right? For example, there is one function Oracle, the same function is available in MS SQL as well, but the background data driving is same, but the function name is different. In Oracle, we'll
okay.
be using replace as RPL, something like that, whereas in MS SQL, we'll be using as replace. The functionality is same, but the way of approaching it is different. The
So
similar kind.
where we have like
Yeah.
Power Center, we have some transformations, right? In IICS, what are the transfers we don't have?
Like update
Main
strategy
differences.
transformation directly, yeah, update strategy transformation is not available in ISCS, but we can achieve it
Mhm.
using data driven. Okay, I'll just I mean, going forward, I can show you that the similar type of transformation. Source targets, we have aggregator. Okay, cleansing this I think this is not available in Power Center. Data masking, if you want to mask the data, like if you are having some PI information, personal information, you don't want to visible here in the logs and everything, we can have data masking here. Okay,
Okay.
deduplication, expression transformation, we do have filter, we have hierarchy builder, hierarchy parsers, Java, joiner. I mean, almost all transformations which are there in Power Center are available in Informatica Cloud.
They have a loop concept here also.
D2 concept, it is using for removing the duplicates kind of thing.
No, I
ISU
mean,
haven't
do
used
they
yet.
have a loop concept in IICS?
Loop.
Need transformation for the looping, yeah.
Looping we do have that will be having in the task flow level, which we call as workflow in Power Center. Here we call it as task flow. That concept is there in task flow level, and that concept is there in application integration as well. Looping concept. So until unless all the records completes the load, it will keep on looping there. Let us say in a JSON we are getting two information about three customers. So I will load the first customer data to database, and after loading I will just come back again. I will take the second record, load it to database, and again I come back, load it to take the third record and load it to the database. That is something like looping is there. I mean, it is mostly useful in application integration, but data integration, I don't think there is. I mean, there is a use for this one because we are processing multiple records at the same in a single mapping, right?
So for application integration, you said you use the task something.
Sorry, application integration.
Yeah, we use the task event in the task. This is a mapping, and that is called task.
No, no, there are no such tasks actually. If you have some knowledge on using the Postman application, then you can readily. I mean, you can have some hands-on and you can practice application integration as well. So let us say I will tell you simple example for application integration. So let me say you are going to retrieve some information, okay, from one API. Okay, let us say you are going to get information of the employees who have joined in year 2022. So what you are going to do is I will send this joining year 2022 as an input to the API. Okay, so when we are hitting this API, okay, with this input value 2022, it will provide us all the information of the employees who joined in 2022. Okay, in a JSON format or in XML format. Okay, so this if you want to hit that API, we will be using this Informatica Application Integration Service, and we can hit that API, and we can retrieve the information in the XML or JSON formats.
So to achieve that, we need to have the API connection, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We should having that, and just a second. So this is the application integration service. Okay. So here, if I click on new, to connect to any other third-party APIs in Informatica Cloud, we have one concept called service connector. Okay, this is the service connector. If you click on create, okay, so definition, we can give the name of the service connector and all the stuff. Okay, and actions, in the actions you can create one action, you can give the action name. Okay, in input, this is the input what you are going to send to API. Let us say I'm going year, I'm sending it as year. Okay, so the test value I'm just going to test with 2022. Okay, and the binding, this is the main heart actually. So here we have to give the API URL here. Okay,
Like from where it will retrieve, right? So this is
sorry,
kind of, so you are passing the URL from where it will fetch the data, right?
yes, correct. So I have to pass the I have to pass the API URL here. And what is the RB? It is a get, post, put, whatever it is. So let us say it is a get. Okay, if it is having some authentication, because the every API is not open to all the users, right? There will be some authentications for the users. If it is a custom authentication or it is a basic authentication, you have to give the username, password. Okay, let me go get some sample API to get JSON data. Okay, so just you can Google and get some API details here. See, you can give like HTTPS products, get all products, and hit the API. Okay, it will. You want to load the response. So these are the input you are going to send. This is the API configuration which you are going to do here, and this is the output. So what is the response we are getting? So let us say we are given it as response.
So actually, if you want to integrate, communicate with the API, so application integration is the only way. We can't do with
Yes, yes.
the IICS.
No, no. Application integration is a service of IICS, and we can
Okay.
do it with data integration as well. Here we have one extra transformation available, which is called web
Because
service transformation.
nowadays I'm seeing lot of requirements. They're talking about REST API integration. That was
Yes, correct.
not
So this
a,
is the
yeah, okay. That is what little advanced, I think. Yeah.
yes, yes. This is the web service transformation. This is the REST API.
Okay.
So in between the pipeline of the source and target, we can have the web service transformation. Just like API, we are
Generally,
going to send.
yeah, generally people use like Python or Java
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
API, but people
yeah.
now expecting IICS also to do that. So that's what the main difference. I think Power Center, IICS, they're talking more about the API integration. I think
Yes,
that is,
correct.
yeah, yeah.
Tarun, I have a
Yeah,
question. Like,
yeah.
if you say we have web services, which is kind of API, then
Mm-hmm.
what is the difference here to use web services here in the data integration and to use the same web service in the API? So why,
Okay.
I mean, or can we do that, API get call to this web service under this data integration? Or
Yes,
when,
yes. We can do.
or,
We can do that.
okay, then when do we use the other like application integration, or what is the advantage, or why we
Okay.
have in both places.
Yeah, okay. So let us say like I in the source I'm reading the employee ID, okay. Only employee ID I'm reading it, okay. So I'm getting like let us say I'm getting 5 IDs from the source 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to retrieve the employee information which is in one of the API. Okay, let us say there is one API in which there is an information related to the employees. So I will be sending this ID as an input to the API using web service transformation. Okay, when you are practicing you'll come to know, because the thing is like it requires like few prerequisites are there. We should having the swagger file. On top of swagger file we should be having rest v2 connection. On top of sorry on
Yeah,
top of rest v2 connection
on the
we
high
should be
level.
having business service. Yeah, so these are
So
requisites.
you are
So what I'm
passing
going to
the
do is
ID to
hmm,
the source file, and it will go through that web service to call that ID, is like that, and
no
give
no
you the data.
not ID. So I'm going to send this ID employee ID as input to the web service transformation. So
Mm-hmm.
this web service transformation will hit the API
Okay.
with ID as an input,
Yeah,
and it will retrieve the information of the employee in a JSON format or an XML format.
and load to the target.
Load to the target.
And how about the application integration? Then what is the difference
Application
over
integration.
there?
Okay. Yeah. So let us say in application integration, I have one process. Okay. I have built one process. So whatever the mapping you are seeing here, we call it as process here. I mean, a bit kind of similar functionality. Okay. So this process, if you see the process name is process 2. Okay. So when I'm saving the process, okay, publishing it. So if you want to make the process or a service connection, everything, anything available on the cloud, we have to publish the asset, then only it will be available on the cloud. Okay, so when you click on this I forgot to give this, sorry.
So do you have the same process in the data integration, or it is only?
No, this is only for application integration. This process, this transformation is not available in data integration. In data integration we have only web service transformation to connect to API, but here we'll be having like multiple, like we'll be having only one component to connect to API, but we have different transformations, different set of transformations. Okay.
So like if I have the web services in the data integration, then
Hmm.
why do I come to the application integration?
That's what I was
Like
telling. That's what I was telling. Yeah, that's what. Okay, if you see the property details here, okay, if you see here, we have service and SOAP URLs. Okay, so this in this Informatica itself is a platform. Okay, so if you are having, if you have some transformations have you have created here, okay, like one create step or calling in service, whatever it is, okay, you have done this and you want to run this process, okay. So what we can do is go to property details. So let us say this is also a web, this is also web service, this process tree is also web service. So okay, here in API, web service API, you are hitting on API URL, right? So this will be the URL. This can be URL, not this will be the URL, this can be an URL. Okay, so this is the API which will let us say I have developed on the process which will get employee ID as an input. Okay, and I will go to database, okay, and get the information of the employee and send as response as an output field for the process. Okay, so in this situation, so I will configure the web service API with this URL, with this URL, service URL. Okay, and I will have this employee ID coming from the source as an from the source as an input to this web service API. And when the API has been hit, this process will run. Okay, this process will run and it will retrieve the information from the database, and it will send the output as in JSON to this web service transformation, and it will be loaded to the target.
So
Okay,
the
this is one.
IICS act like a website basically, right? So means it
Yes,
will.
we can say, yeah, bit relatable, we can say it as website.
So basically, it will itself give a like a big URL, and then it will go underlying database and fetch the data, and whatever the basis of input, it will go and search the underlying database and return the values
Yes,
like
correct.
like ASP or Java server pages, I think. Yeah.
Yes, correct. If you see, I have already configured, right? So let me say, for this process, I don't have any input, okay? I don't have any input fields and I don't have any output fields and anything, okay? So I just, if I want to trigger this process, okay, property details, copy this one, go to Postman. I think Postman is not available.
So is it this one is also part of the curriculum, API calls?
No, no, this is not part of curriculum. Just you have asked, just I am just
Okay.
helping understand the thing. But I can just give you a brief just how to use and all this thing. Okay, just
Yeah, what I observe is in the market right now, people
mhm.
are not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
using IICS for integration, they're going beyond it. They're talking all API integration and all. So I think plain IICS, not many people are interested in the
yeah.
job
If you
market.
have power, yeah, if you have power center background, then data integration is not a big challenge. Like 1 month or 2 months of just working, it will be easy. I mean, it will be sufficient. You can learn data integration. You just like understand the concepts and just differences and all the stuff. I mean, it will
Yeah,
be okay to learn data integration, but application integration is this is something like a new concept.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Are you going to
Is there
teach
any
any?
separate course,
Yeah, that's
Addon,
yeah.
Sorry?
for application integration?
No, no, this is not part of curriculum, right? So this is was only for data
No,
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 is there
integration.
any
I know.
But
separate course as well?
Oh, for yeah, right, Sridhar, yeah.
I have to check with Visualpath only.
But are you going to cover the
Yeah, yeah.
XML and JSON?
No, no. I will just give like take a couple of days sessions just to give a brief idea of application integration, how it works, and what are the uses. I mean, just I will just give how to hit an API through IICS, how IICS itself behaves like a API.
Okay.
This
No,
kind of
but
just
JSON file and XML. Are you going to go over?
yeah, yeah. In that, because see, when we are talking about I mean, web services and REST connections, REST API connections, the data transfer will be happening through. It is not a relational data transfer. It will be like through XML or through JSON.
Oh, okay. That's the way you will do it.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if you want to read the data from an API, it will be coming in a JSON format or it will be coming in XML format. It will won't be coming in a CSV file or it will won't come in relational data. So we will be getting in XML format and we have to convert it to relational data.
Okay. In some cases, uh, I think some of the insurance company, they send a directly JSON file or XML files directly into our server. In that case, we don't need API calls. We can directly read from XML with some
Yes,
parser transformation. I
correct.
worked in, yeah. So in that case, you don't need a API, but you can directly read from the I think XML parser transformation or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
there is.
yes. If the data is very high, we can go with data integration, or else you can read that file, that JSON file, I mean, the JSON data which is there in the file from an application integration process, and you can load it to target. I mean, anything is achievable based on your flexibility. Anything can be achievable. Okay, we
Yeah,
can
Tarun,
configure
I have
application
one
process.
question.
Yeah. Yes.
See, actually, for Power Center, I remember we have Power Exchange for like real-time change data
Yes.
capture.
Yes. Correct.
So, do we have any
CDC.
similar thing? Yeah,
Yeah, no, CDC is not there here because we have an application integration, right? It will be a real-time data. Let us say like there is one application, okay? Let us say there is an application. Let us say in a Facebook account you're trying to log in, okay? So when you're trying to log in, you are entering your username and password, okay? So this username and password will be available in one of the database, correct? Because application, if you want to store some data, there should be database, right? Okay, so when
yeah.
you're entering this username and password, I have the requirement is like I have to go to database, okay, search for this combination, okay. If it is existing, then you have to log in. If it is not existing in the database, it had to throw an error saying that invalid username and password. So this complete process will take 5 seconds, like around 5 seconds, right? So what you're going to do, so I'm logging into Facebook, I'm giving my username and password. So whenever the username and password has been given and you have clicked on login, an API hits the database, okay, with these inputs, like username and password as an input, it will hit the database, and in the database it will check if the combination is existing or not. If it is existing, you will be able to log in. If it is not existing, it will throw an error saying that invalid username or password, correct? So this complete process will be happening in in 2 to 3 seconds. That is the power of application integration. So this can be achieved, this authentication, this verification can be achieved with application integration as well.
Okay, CDC is like now is part of application integration now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because CDC, what is happening is if a record comes and inserts into database, it will hit the Informatica job, right?
Yeah.
So the similar type, what will happen is, so let us say there is a Salesforce and one account got created in Salesforce. So what we'll do is, let me tell you, this URL is there, right? This service URL is there, right? This service URL, we will give it to the Salesforce team. Okay, they will configure this URL with some logic such that if a account got created, then only hit this process, hit this API. If the account is updated, don't hit the process. Some configuration they will do it. Okay, outbound messaging we have multiple options to hit the API. Okay, so when the account got created, it will hit the Informatica database, Informatica process, and the process will perform all the transformations between this start and end, and it will end the process and it will send the response to the Salesforce. This is also we call as real-time data processing.
Okay. Yeah.
Understanding? I mean something like practical,
Yeah.
relatable, practically.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so whenever account got created in Salesforce, I want the record to be available in Oracle database. So I will share this URL with the Salesforce. They'll configure at their site, and when the when record got created, it will hit this Informatica process, and here will be have a transformation which will load the data to Oracle. Okay, so once the Oracle data has been loaded successfully, we will send a response code 200 status OK to Salesforce. Okay, or else we can
Yeah.
there are
Sure.
some concepts,
Yeah.
webhook concepts. Whenever there's an update in the, let us say there is a courier service and we have configured one webhook transformation, a webhook there. So when the status of the courier has been changed from shipped to delivered, it will automatically trigger this update to Informatica, and Informatica will send it to database. I mean similar type webhook concepts. So don't, I mean, keeping it simple. Informatic is also treat it as a website with an API enabled website. I mean, this is not, I'm saying this is completely correct, but it is not wrong. Okay, just for your basic understanding, I'm telling you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if you see here in the API URL, the name of the process will be at the end. Okay, since it is hosted on the cloud, this will be common. Okay, if you are hosting it on secure agent, see here we have an option to run on cloud server, or if you want to run it on secure agent. Okay, if I'm saving it, publishing it.
So you need to publish it because it is API stuff.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
If you're not publishing and you are doing some changes, okay, and you have saved the process but you haven't published, then in this case, if you're running this, the older version will be running in the background, not the newer version. Even the changes are done here, if you don't publish, the older version will be running here.
Gotcha.
Okay, if you see here, now the secure agent has been changed. Initially it was cloud agent, now it is secure agent. So if you want to, because this is an API, okay, if you are not using the secure agent, then there will be some threats. Okay, like there might be some data leakage, or someone might be in entering into the cloud and returning information if it is some sensitive data. If it is secure agent, it is firewall protected. Okay, and you can transfer the data across the applications, across the APIs in a secured manner. Okay, I'm not sure new persons to ETL up to what level they understood.
This is definitely
No, what?
yeah, advanced. Yeah, advanced.
So, Tarun, in the data integration part, what are the all the transformations you will cover by with example? Just you will explain the transformations.
No, I will explain the transformations. I can just give one example, and later, you can practice with multiple scenarios. If there is a joiner, okay, I can tell you one joiner here, like left outer joiner, something like that, and remaining three, you can one or two I will tell you. Okay,
No, not these
and
things like JSON
hmm,
format files, those things, and web service transformation, those kind of
see,
transformations.
see, if you want to use web service transformation, the challenge is like we can use it, but the thing is like we are using the trial version, right? It will won't support all the things actually.
Mhm.
Okay, if you are having a licensed version of this, then we have multiple options based on the requirement, so we can use it. So in trial version also, I will just go through if that restricted connection I'm able to create or not, the Swagger file, everything. Okay, so I will just cover all the transformations, like day-to-day uses of transformations, what are lookup, maplet, everything. We just cover.
So what will be
Nowadays,
covered
all
is already in the curriculum, right?
Yeah, this is there is a curriculum, so I will cover almost all the topics in the curriculum which they have shared. So
Okay. And
application
for
integration is just like not in the curriculum. Just at the end of the course, I can just spend like 2 or 3 days, and I can just give you what are the components and what are the terminologies, naming conventions. Terminologies in application
and
integration.
this is a recorded session, right? We'll be getting the recordings.
Yeah, you will be getting it from Visualpath. They'll sharing the. I think they will be sharing the links to you, and you can have access
Okay.
to the recordings.
so this is Monday to Friday only. Weekends also your people providing.
I will just as per our discussion with Visualpath, I will just check and I will update you. So if there is
Mhm.
something like to be covered, and if you're okay, you want to learn something like more, I can just spend 1 hour on 1 hour on weekend, and I can just help you on that. No issues.
Mhm. Total how many days? How many working days? Like 30 days or 45 days?
Uh, I have updated the thing to Visual Path. They have to come back to me, so they have to tell me that if they want to cover application integration as well, or if they want only data integration. Just I want to check with that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And how many days you said?
I think see the 25 to 25 hours is good enough for data integration, so we can cover as much topics as possible. Okay, because
Mm,
here, if you see, if you talk about Power Center, the table extraction, the metadata of the table extraction, schema extraction, it is bit difficult. Okay, but here it is very straightforward. Just select the connection, select the table name in the connection, and use it. That's it. No need
Tarun?
of importing the tables, sources. No need of importing the targets. No need of importing the lookup tables. That concept is not there. It is straightforward.
So do you
Tarun,
provide
one
us
more
the
query.
Mm.
is
Tarun,
good?
one
Yeah,
more
please.
query.
Yeah.
Nowadays, most of the Power Center projects like this is migrations only or new development. It will be there
Yeah,
in
new development
all
is
the things.
also there, but in the market, migrations projects are also in very high demand because that's what I was telling, right? Informatica organization is not going to support Power Center anymore. Most probably, like next to 2 to 2.5 years, the Power Center will vanish. It will be moved to cloud because Informatica itself is forcing their clients to move to cloud, and they are only converting the code from Power Center to IICS, and they are giving it to the clients at free of cost.
Mhm. So you mean to say 90% migration projects only, almost.
Not 90%. Majority is there. Informatic cloud development projects are also there. Okay, so
Mhm.
but migration project is also in good scope.
Actually, if it's a brand new implementation, they're
Yes,
doing IICS. Yeah,
correct.
but yeah, I actually working in a company where the clients have like a 50% of the work they're doing migration, uh,
Mhm.
and but some of the development, suppose a brand new development, they're doing through the cloud itself.
Yeah. So let us say they are using some Python scripts to get the data from some sources. Okay. So they are replacing the Python with Informatica cloud adapters. We have Google Cloud, we have GCP, we have AWS, something like that, right? So they're directly using the cloud adapters and they're returning the data. They are removing the Python script there. I mean, some enhancements and existing code.
Yeah, actually, a lot of companies now they want to go everything end to end cloud. Like I worked with the one client, the source is in Azure, and the
Okay.
target is also Azure. So they want
Okay.
end to end cloud. In that case, they are using IICS, no power center at all. But still, there is a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
code sitting in the power center.
Okay, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, I'm interested to learn more on IICS and again API based. So that's the reason I try to join. I'm interested more on the advanced part, but I know it's for people who have no knowledge in power center. This will be a tough challenge.
Yeah, yeah. So for them, I have to start with basics. That for sure, because I have
For
to show them what is a table. I mean,
for
how we are going to connect
for
source, what are the
API
trans.
means like we have some program knowledge required, right, Tarun? For API, if you want to learn
No, no. If you
some programming
have
knowledge.
some what I suggest is if you have some bandwidth and if you have some interest in learning, install the Postman automation and get the free APIs and open APIs from Google and configure the API details in the Postman. How you are hitting the API, how what are the data you are getting from API. Just practice this like few days, like around 2 weeks is good enough.
We can
And
see
what
some
are different
tutorial
types
in
of
the YouTube, right? For the
yeah, you
Postman
can do
language.
good. Yeah, yeah, yes, 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 you can do it. So the what are the configuration we are doing in the Postman, the same level of configuration we'll be doing it in the IICS in service connector. The same. You have to give the URL in the Postman. You have to give the URL here. What is the verb? We have to give it in Postman. You have to give it here as well.
Yeah,
So you are
there is
suggesting
the get, post, delete. Yes, something like that, right? Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. This is the verb. This is the if you want to get the information, we use get. If you want to insert a record, post it. If you want to
Yeah.
insert, if the record is existing, update the record. If it is not existing, insert the record, put. If you want to delete a record, delete. Mostly
Okay.
you'll be using this put, post, get this through webs only. The remaining all are
We
like
can do this same thing with even any other programming language, right? Even Python also people used to do. Java also they
yes,
used
yes,
to
yes,
do. Okay.
yes, correct.
Okay.
So just play around with Postman for different APIs, get, post, and put calls. You will be able to understand the concepts here.
So you
Okay.
mean if we go through the Postman, so it will help to understand the API, right? API
Yes,
integration, right?
yes, correct.
Okay. And
Well,
Tarun,
generally,
will you?
yeah.
Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, please. Yeah, go
No, I
ahead. Go
was
ahead.
asking like after the class, what do you guys like provide us like any questions just to review and all this stuff, any interview stuff?
Yeah, interview stuff. That's what I was telling. Like, so the profile demands like more of. I mean, we have good number of projects in the market related to conversion. So if you learn the data integration part, you can hit any of the conversion projects. That's for sure. If you want to go with application integration, also this is also having good market as of now. Like there are very. I mean, my knowledge, there are very less resources in the market for AP application integration, and it has good demand, and it is something like a new, I mean, advanced technology. And one more thing, IICS is not new. It has been from almost a decade, but it is having a good market from last 3 to 4 years. Yeah. See, they
Yeah,
are
answer
like
that. And will
when
you guys
initially
give us any kind of document to go through, like a written or any Word doc or something beside that?
for like after each training session,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for interview stuff or just to review.
interview stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just help out you with that. I can just help you out with that. Okay, no issues. I just whatever the knowledge I have like around 7 years of experience, and I have like 5+ of years experience in IICS. Okay, and 5+ years experience in both application and data integration. Both I was working on both the components and both the services. Okay, and I have knowledge. I have been working with conversion project as well, a very huge conversion project. Like we have converted like thousands of workflows, and I have integrated with Salesforce application integration. I mean, I have like around 5 years. I have played around with ISCS, having good knowledge on that. So I can help you with interview questions as well, if you are planning for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So whatever I'm telling, I can cover mostly like some to some extent. Okay, if you practice it a day every day and after the session, if I'm telling one concept here, if you practice that in multiple ways, analyzing the situation, then you will be easily understanding, and you can get on your toes, and you can start cracking the interviews. So the major thing is like practice plays a major role here, because when I'm telling
Taran,
it
one
will be
question.
very. Yeah, please.
If you're migrating some mappings from Power Center to IICS, it's
Mhm.
just a one-time activity and it might not take much time, is it? Or we need to redo
No, no,
everything here.
actually,
Or
no.
yeah.
It is one time activity, and one more thing is, right. See, when a client is coming from Power Center to cloud, okay, so Informatica organization itself is taking the code from Power Center, okay, and they have some tools at their side. From Informatica side, they have some tools, okay. They are not going to share it with any of us. They are having their own tools, and when they, so right, in Power Center it is an XML. So when the XML is imported into the Informatica tool, it will convert the code to ISCS, and it will send the code to Informatica cloud. Okay, the tools are integrated each other, such that one XML of the Power Center code is imported to that their local tools. It will make the code available in the ISCS. So what they are doing is, they are, after converting the code to ISCS, they are just doing a dry run, like just they are running end to end, making sure the mapping is running or not. So from there, they will hand over the code to the client, which is our migration project. So here our role is to like run the mapping end to end, and we have to check if the mapping is in sync with Power Center, like all the transformations logic is everything 95% will be no issues. There may be small issues, okay, and we have to do the validation of the code, and after that we have to load the data from source to target, and we have to validate the data into the target if it is matching with Power Center data or not, because Power Center is already in production, right? So we feel that production data is correct in Power Center, and we have to mitigate the same in ISCS. So this
So
is
this will not
like
take much. These will not be long-term projects. Migration, is it? Only testing effort is required.
yeah, testing effort is required. There is a scope, like see, once the code is going to
See,
production, okay. Yeah.
no. Everything we have to work a scratch. Like you need to create all the tables, you need to validate all the connections. That is also you need to put a lot of efforts. Migration projects also. It's
Yes,
not a,
yes.
it's kind of couple of months are not like that. It will be around 8 months or now 1 year also will be like that.
Yeah,
That is
there are few projects,
also you
migration
have to.
projects from last 2 years as well. 2 years, 2.5. It depends upon the size of the project and number of workflows you're converting. Okay.
Okay.
Comparing to IICS, Power Center is the flexible tool only, Tarun.
No, I feel like IICS is a flexible tool.
Okay.
IICS is a flexible tool. Just you can just access it from if you want to. If you're doing the production support, okay. Let me say you're doing production support, and you want to monitor the jobs. If you're Power Center, you should be having the your own laptop. You can't go with another laptop as well. You should have your own laptop because Power Center is installed there. If you are having ISCS, you can just log in into your mobile, go to monitor services which is available here, monitor the jobs. See monitor here. You can monitor the jobs. I mean, there are pros and cons when compared with the Power Center. We do have small, but if you feel which is the better, I will go with ISCS.
Tarun, I have a question about data replication
Yeah.
and data migration. Is it pretty easy here in IICS to do that? I mean, that's the difference between premise level and the in a cloud level, right?
So what was the replication?
I don't know whether there is a feature called data replication here in IICS.
Yes. We do have two concepts. One is called data replication, and another is called
Mm-hmm.
data synchronization. So just going with the naming conventions, replicate means just to replicate, do a
Mm-hmm.
copy.
Right.
Okay. Synchronization
Mm-hmm.
means just to synchronize the data. So
Mm-hmm.
replication means replication the data from the source to target, replicate.
Mm-hmm.
Synchronization, synchronize the data from source to target. It will be an upset operation. If the record is not existing,
Oh,
insert
okay.
the record. If the record is existing, update the record on the primary key.
Okay. Okay. And data
Okay.
migration?
Just data migration, like it is a mapping, right? There is no such concept called data migration, but that is a mapping configuration tasks.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they got bored, the new joiners, new to ISC Informatica.
I see half of them are got dropped.
Okay. Okay. How many were there at initially? I see it was 15 members were there when I started the meeting. I'm not sure if someone has joined in between. Okay.
Yeah, I was like
Okay, fine.
18 people. Mhm.
Okay, then fine. Yeah, because it will be, I mean, a bit difficult to understand for the new persons who are new to ETL. So when we start the proper sessions, we can go step by step. This is just a demo, so I have to cover all the, I mean, different topics for the demo. I can't just limit to the source, and I can't just limit to the source mapping, right? So I have to start with, I mean, I have to go with all the topics briefly. Okay, so anything else, or we can wind up the session?
Thank you, Tarun. For me, that's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tarun.
Karan.
Thank you, Tarun.
Wonderful. You were explained very well. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, Tarun.
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh.
Expect very soon. Good explanation.